Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 7, Summary and Analysis. The scene begins with Macbeth alone, delivering a soliloquy that reveals his inner turmoil over the plan to murder King Duncan. He first reasons that if he's going to murder Duncan, he should do it swiftly while circumstances are to his advantage. But he begins to question the morality of the crime, acknowledging that Duncan has been a good king and that his virtues will plead like angels against the murder. Macbeth is torn between his ambition and his moral hesitation. He seems to talk himself out of the deed, reasoning that his ambition is vaulting or going too far and will likely result in his downfall. Lady Macbeth then enters and Macbeth instructs her that they will abandon the plan. However, Lady Macbeth angrily questions him, seeming to imply that he cannot be in his right mind if he won't kill Duncan. She also deliberately attacks his masculinity in "When thou durst do it, then you were a man." In her relentless attack, she finally argues that she would kill her own child before breaking such a promise, and assures him the plan will not fail if Macbeth is courageous. Overwhelmed by her words and persuaded by her plan to frame Duncan's guards for the murder, Macbeth agrees to carry out the murder, ending the scene with renewed determination. "I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat." Let's go on to the analysis. In the early part of the scene, Macbeth's soliloquy is used by Shakespeare to explore the internal conflict created by unchecked ambition for power. The soliloquy, which is littered with references to heaven and punishment, reveals a deep awareness of the moral and political implications of murdering Duncan. Through this, Shakespeare reveals a human side to Macbeth's character, showing that he is not innately evil, but rather swayed by external forces, primarily his wife and the witch's prophecy. By allowing us to hear Macbeth's internal turmoil before he speaks with his wife, also allows us to see how easily Macbeth is manipulated by her later in the scene. After Lady Macbeth's entrance, Shakespeare explores the power dynamic between them, upending the traditional gender expectations of his time by presenting her as a powerful manipulator who seems to control her husband's every impulse. It's important to remember that in Shakespeare's time, women's roles in society were restricted, and they were wrongly considered as both weaker and less capable than men. So in presenting Lady Macbeth as not only powerful, but also cruel and ruthless, Shakespeare subverts this expectation of women, a possible sign of the fair becoming foul, which the witches predicted in Act 1. Now let's consider some key quotations from this scene. From Macbeth's soliloquy, we can see how he reasons himself out of committing regicide. In "I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other," Shakespeare creates a clever metaphor linking to a horse rider, and it reveals Macbeth's discomfort at his own ambition. Spurs are the pointed devices secured to a rider's boot, which are used to urge on the horse. The spur here symbolizes motivation or justification, which Macbeth admits that he lacks. This highlights his internal conflict, as he recognizes that his ambition for power alone drives him. The phrase vaulting ambition suggests an intense, reckless desire for power that metaphorically leaps too high. Though hungry for power, Macbeth does recognize he should have limits on his ambition, bringing to mind the Jacobean belief in the great chain of being, where kings were considered the highest human position below God. Macbeth seems aware that there may be an eternal consequence if he was to murder Duncan. To analyse Lady Macbeth's characterization in the latter part of the scene, consider how Shakespeare explores the depth of her cruelty and ambition in "I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out." In her declaration that she would willingly kill her own child in a horrific way, Lady Macbeth's language shows a symbolic renunciation of her femininity and further links her to witchcraft and devilry. This shocking declaration by Lady Macbeth emphasises her unwavering commitment to their plan and her rejection of maternal instincts and traditional femininity. The brutal imagery reinforces her alignment with the dark, unnatural forces and her determination to achieve power, no matter the cost. For the Jacobean audience, such words would underscore her villainous nature as she defies the expectations of womanhood and morality. So in this pivotal scene, Shakespeare masterfully explores themes of ambition, morality, and the power dynamics within Macbeth's relationship, setting the scene for the tragic events which will play out in the following act.